The wind whispers across the vast desert. A man sits outside his tent, his eyes fixed on the stars. His name is Abraham. His wife, Sarah, sits beside him, staring into the fire. The night is peaceful, but their hearts are restless. A deep voice breaks the silence. Powerful, commanding, yet full of love. God speaks to Abraham. Abraham, leave your country, your family, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation and bless you. Abraham sits up straight, his heart racing. He looks at Sarah, who watches him, confused. Sarah asks, "What did you hear?" Abraham, "The Lord has spoken to me. We must leave everything behind." Sarah, worried, "Everything? But where will we go?" Abraham, softly but firmly, "We don't need to know. He will lead us." Sarah takes a deep breath. She has heard Abraham speak of this God before, the one true God. She nods slowly. Together, they pack their belongings, gather their servants, including a young woman named Hagar, and begin their journey. The journey is long. They travel through foreign lands, face famine, and meet kings. But through it all, Abraham trusts that God is leading them. Yet, as the years pass, one thing does not change. Sarah remains barren. The promise of a child. One night, Abraham sits alone, staring at the sky. His face is troubled. Then, the voice of God speaks again. "Do not be afraid, Abraham. I am your shield, your very great reward." Abraham, "But Lord, you have given me no child. How can I be the father of nations?" God speaks again. "Look up at the sky. Count the stars if you can. So shall your descendants be." Abraham looks up. The stars are endless, shining brightly in the night sky. His heart fills with faith, but inside the tent, Sarah listens with doubt in her heart. Sarah, whispering to herself, "A child? At my age, it is impossible." Days turn into months, months into years. Sarah watches Abraham's faith. Sarah grows impatient. One evening, Sarah watches Abraham play with the children of their servants. A deep sadness fills her heart. She calls her servant, Hagar, to her side. Sarah speaks to Hagar. "Hagar, you have been with us for many years. You have seen my sorrow." Hagar, softly, "Yes, my lady. I cannot give Abraham a son, but you are young, and you could bear him a child." Hagar's eyes widen in shock. She looks down, uncertain. This is not what she expected, but she knows she has no choice. Later that night, Sarah speaks to Abraham. "Sarah, gently but firmly, take Hagar as your wife. Perhaps through her, we will have a son." Abraham hesitates. He trusts God's promise, but Sarah's pain is great. Finally, he agrees. Hagar becomes pregnant. At first, Sarah is relieved, but soon things begin to change. Hagar walks with confidence, her hand resting on her growing belly. She no longer looks at Sarah as her mistress, but as a woman who could not bear a child herself. Sarah begins to resent her. Hagar flees. One day, Sarah sees Hagar smiling, touching her belly. Something inside her breaks. She storms into Abraham's tent. Sarah, angrily, "This is your fault. Hagar now sees herself above me. Send her away." Abraham looks at Sarah with sorrow. He does not want to cause her pain, but he cannot send Hagar away. He sighs. "She is your servant. Do with her as you see fit." Sarah begins treating Hagar harshly. Unable to bear it, Hagar flees into the wilderness. She wanders, thirsty and afraid, until she collapses near a spring. As she weeps, a voice calls out, "Angel of the Lord." "Hagar, servant of Sarah, where are you going?" Hagar looks up, startled. Hagar speaks, "I am running away." "Angel of the Lord, return to Sarah. I will make your son into a great nation. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard your cry." Hagar wipes her tears, strength returning to her. She goes back, and soon she gives birth to a son, Ishmael. Abraham holds him, smiling. He finally has a son. The true promise fulfilled. Years pass. Ishmael grows strong, and Abraham loves him deeply. But then, one day, 3 strangers appear at Abraham's tent. He welcomes them, offering food and rest. Stranger speaking to Abraham, "Where is your wife, Sarah?" Abraham, "Inside the tent?" Stranger, "A year from now, she will have a son." Inside the tent, Sarah listens and laughs, not a laugh of joy, but one of disbelief. Sarah, whispering to herself, "A child? At my age?" The stranger turns toward the tent. Stranger, "Why did Sarah laugh? Is anything too hard for the Lord?" Sarah steps out, trembling. "I did not laugh." The stranger's eyes pierce into hers. "Oh, but you did?" Sarah feels her doubt melting away. For the first time in years, she dares to hope. A year later, the impossible happens. Sarah holds a baby in her arms, the child she had longed for all her life. Sarah, weeping with joy. "The Lord has brought me laughter. Who would have thought I could bear a child?" Abraham lifts the baby toward the sky, his voice filled with gratitude. "His name shall be Isaac, for the Lord has fulfilled his promise." Abraham and Sarah's journey was long, filled with trials and moments of doubt. But God was faithful. Though Sarah lost patience, though Hagar fled in sorrow, and though Abraham waited many years, the promise was never forgotten. For nothing is too hard for the Lord.